Right, market has just opened.
And with any luck, anytime soon we'll be streaming live to YouTube, but it doesn't look like we are currently.
Oh, let's have a look, mate.
Hang on. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we're there. Happy days. G'day, everyone. Welcome to TTR, not TTR. This is Learn to Trade Live and Free, and it is the UK session with me, Jeff, coming to you live from Tasmania, and he, Ash, who's coming to you live from Brighton. G'day, buddy.
Oh, how you doing, mate? How you doing?
I was going to say welcome back, but it's me who was away, wasn't
it? Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah, it is.
How was the week?
Oh, mate, it's been great. Do you know, the sun has genuinely started shining now, and I'll give you these are the temperatures now because everybody balks at the temperature in the UK, but we're starting to hit near 30 now, so it's actually genuinely. It's getting genuinely hot here, and I've started a bit of a new regime. I'm swimming every day in the morning, and just to kind of wake myself up a little bit, and you know just get my brain in order. So I've just got back from the beach now. I just went for a quick dip. And now I won't say it's warm. It's by no means warm, certainly at this time of day, and the sea isn't by any means warm, but it's not cold either. It's around about 17 degrees, which probably might seem a bit cold for some people, but it's brilliant.
It is a bit chilly. Yeah. You have to warm up before your manhood was evident again after getting in there, mate.
It doesn't get too much warmer, to be fair. But actually, when you get in and get used to it, it doesn't feel cold. It just it feels fresh. True. It feels quite fresh, you know. But
as you say, it livens you up, gets the blood running for the day.
Oh, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And you know, getting ready for trading, which is what we're here for. And who we got in the room today? Simon's back. How you doing, mate?
My screen share is paused. What's that mean?
Screen share. Well, I can see your screen, mate. You're
can
all
you?
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All good. Hey, listen. We do have an open. We haven't placed the pound trade. Have you got any orders to put in?
No, I'm actually already live in the market from last week. So let's do what you're doing, and then we'll come back to my stuff in a minute.
All right. So everybody in here would be aware of that, no doubt. Perhaps.
Maybe not. Some will
Depends
still.
when you place it, I suppose.
Yes, I did actually. I've taken. Well, yeah. We'll talk about the trades that we did last week in a minute. But yeah.
Okay. Happy
Let's
days.
do the pound.
We should still be in a couple actually from a fortnight ago. I am. I don't know who else is. Should be. Pound Kiwi, pound Aussie, going well. Righto. Pound, US dollar. All right. So we're going to trade this breakout trade again. And we're trading on an hourly chart now. Actually, I hope I should still have the EA here. I do. Awesome. I haven't heard from Kumar for ages. I hope everything's okay.
Oh, me too, mate. Yeah, I haven't either. I was thinking that last week, actually.
Now we need to change this from start bar 0 to start bar 1, and that'll give us our levels. Okie dokie. All right, so the entry price for the buy order, if you haven't done this before, guys, then I'll explain the process to you in a little bit. But here are the parameters that you need to be aware of for this breakout trade. And it is still in beta test mode, by the way, so you shouldn't be putting any serious money on this at all. For the buy, we've got, hang on. Let me just get this back in order. I've got stuff all over the place here. And this is pound Aussie. Oh, not pound Aussie. Must have it on my brain. GBP USD. And we will buy, it's an OCO, by the way, buy at 131.12. With a stop loss at 130.45. And the other side of that is exactly the reverse. We'll sell at 130.45 and we'll have a stop loss at 131.12. $130.45 and stop loss 131.12, if I remember correctly. Yes, indeed. Okay, now, those of you who haven't seen this before, what we're really doing is, in fact, what we are doing, not really doing, is trading the breakout of the previous 3 bars on an hourly chart. Now, those, of course, are the 3 bars prior to London Open. And today, let me just take that back so you can see them. These are the 3 bars, this one, and this one, effectively the same, but this is the high. And what we do, we take the high of those 3 bars and we add 15 pips to that. And that's where we put our entry for the long. For the shorts, we take the low of the range of those 3 bars and we take 10 pips off and put our entry for the short at that 10 pip mark. The reverse, of course, is that we put a stop loss for the buy at the sell entry and we put our stop loss for the sell at the buy entry. So they are the levels that we're using today, buying at 131.12 with a stop loss at 130.45, and we're selling at the same price, 130.45, with our stop loss at 131.12. When we get triggered, we will then trail on an hourly chart 2 bars. True chart. Oh, the chart is EuroCAD, not cable. Really? Hang on, I'll do a new share then. That's bizarre.
EuroCAD, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're on EuroCAD monthly.
How about now?
How about now? No different.
You're kidding.
No. I see your tabs. I see your tabs down the bottom. You got Euro Dollar 4-hour, Euro Aussie daily, and then the Euro CAD on the monthly, and it's still on that
I'm on
screen.
an entirely different. That's on the IFS account.
Oh, there you go. You see,
I'm actually on Fusion. Okay, I don't know how to fix that. That's why I say the screen sharing has pause. Resume share. That'll be it.
There you go. Now we're on the Euro.
How now, brown cow.
There you go, mate.
Righto, should be back in. Oh, yeah, now it's changed. Oh, cool. Righto, so there you go. The entry, which I haven't placed yet, let's very, very quickly place this order while we're there. Sell stop first. Again, you don't want any serious money on this, guys. This is beta test mode only. And tonight in the US session, we're going to drill down into the ones that we have been trading for the past 9 months. And we're going to try and focus on what we could do better and see if we can actually bring this strategy to life and call it a strategy rather than a beta test. So that, as of tonight, we will bring you the results of that in the show tomorrow, of course. That is the sell I've just placed. We'll now place the buy. $131.12. I had EuroCAD up for a reason. That's top of my watch list today. And 130.45. All right, but as you guys know, or those of you who've been in for a while, I don't trade the first 30-minute candle of the session. And therefore, we'll pass over to Ash, who does.
Fantastic.
What do you got, mate?
Yeah, well, yeah. Normally I would be doing that. We had some great trades last week, mate. I mean, I've started just kind of broaden my horizons a little bit with some of these things, and maybe it's because the US show has just kind of made me think a little differently. I am a little bit. I mean, don't know what's going on with my timing with some of these cryptos, but I just can't pull the trigger, or in fact, to pull the trigger on Cardano, and we all know I got stopped out on that one, and it's flew up another 80%, which has hurt me, and maybe that's my problem.
80%.
Oh man, honestly, I was getting in at 8, and it went all the way up to 15. So probably more than 80% actually, or at least it went up to 15. So I was almost at 100%. But I got stopped out at 750. So I had stop was just a little bit too tight, and it's gone. So it's one of those.
A learning process, I would imagine, mate.
Yeah, well, as Shukri tells us, we've got to hodl with this stuff, which is hold on for dear life, forget your stop losses, and figure out a different way to protect your trade, which can be done. Anyway, we are going to go through more tomorrow night. Shukri's going to tell us about. But let me share my screen, because the one that I really, really was wanting and focusing on recently, after I missed my Cardano trade, was Ethereum. I really liked Ethereum, so I've been talking about Ethereum and sort of saying I wanted it back at $300. Is it $300 for Ethereum? And when we look at Ethereum, this is what happened over the weekend. We have gapped to the upside. So we got the gap initially. Well, in fact, not gapped, because we know that this is a 24-hour market. But on these exchanges, or these brokers, they will gap because they close over the weekend. Shukri very wisely told me about the fact that there's not really a gap. But the fact is, Ethereum has taken off again to the upside, currently at 384. Now, I want it at 300. I want it quite a way down. But it just wasn't coming back, and look at it now. I would just wish that I just bought into it and forgot the retracement. But I really like Ethereum, and actually, I'm not so keen on some of those others. And if we look at the Ethereum specifically, so where we'll talk, as we say, more about cryptos in the US session tomorrow. But where we look at cryptocurrencies maybe as a potential for protecting some capital and acting very similar to gold, we still have to go to the right market. And Ethereum is the one that is just absolutely flying. And I'm getting quite comforted to the fact that I'm picking some really good ones. I picked a Cardano before it took off. I picked Ethereum before this most recent takeoff. But I am yet to kind of get a successful trade out of them. We compare this to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin flew, early doors as we open up over the weekend. It kind of, I think it almost hit. I think it was higher than that actually. From what I gather, Bitcoin hit 12,000, but it's retraced back anyway. So not quite as good a performance as the likes of Ethereum. So is there any more room on Ethereum? Well, we're going to have to find out that from Shukri tomorrow. I know there's something going on with Ethereum over the next few days. I think August the 8th, he said that there's something happening. So maybe people are going to continue to buy into that, and the opportunity has gone. I don't know. But the other thing we have done as well is just increased our boundaries with some of these indices. And the index we were trading last week was the IBEX. And I don't know what everybody is doing with the IBEX, but this is what happened. We got in at 7,200, which is all the way up here. 7,200.
6 minutes from 12K to 10.5. Interesting.
Oh,
that's a flash crash.
12K, yes, there you go. And that just goes to show the danger of getting on the wrong side of the wrong cryptocurrency, So we've got to be informed about this stuff. You can make a lot of money pretty quickly, and this is what I'm saying about Cardano. Cardano increased its value by near 100%. It's between 80 and 100% over the course of a couple of days. And that's what we're dealing with here, mate. So we've got to really kind of like make sure that we have the correct parameters and protection in place when we take these trades. But the opportunity to make some money for these cryptos is absolutely there. And because of that, I want to make sure that I can get involved in them. So that will be something that we will learn over time. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. We've only just opened the doors on those, and as I say, I'm comforted at the fact that I seem to be picking the right ones at the minute. I think the knowledge that I'm gaining really from Shukri is probably growing enough to start getting getting the handle around this stuff. Now, when it comes down to trying to research it, I'm not really in the right place for that just yet. I'm still a massive novice when it comes down to making sure that I'm going to the right places to research it and making sure that I understand what's driving it. But it seems to be going well in picking the right market. So we'll continue to dip our toes into the cryptos and see if we can get the right combination with the strategy, protecting our capital and getting the right trades on. But last week we traded this, mate. We traded the IBEX, and the IBEX has managed now to fall near 300. I think it is.
Hang
actually.
On, Dennis. No, it's an IBIS.
IBIS, okay.
Yep.
That's a hotel chain over in the UK. So it seems to be many things, but I just did not like the Spanish market. Now, I know Shukri took this trade. Are you still in the IBEX, Shukri? I decided to take profit on the close of the gap. So we're pretty much close to where I did take the profit in the end on this one. So it might have still further to run. But when I look at this on some of the longer term timeframes, I think if this is, it's worth taking it off and seeing if we can get another trade on this at a later date. This is the monthly picture here on the IBEX. Let me just bring some of these trend lines in here. Here we go. This is the monthly picture on the IBEX. And we see that there's this line over here. So when we kind of got down to this level, I was thinking, okay, it's on the gap level. I think it was of interest for me to take off, but you can see there may well be just a little bit more room, maybe even another looks like maybe another 300 pips to the downside. But I think we can wait on this one and see if it's going to transpire and break down again. And we'll see if we can get into this one again on the way down. So it was the weekly chart that was interesting me for the potential level of support. So there is some support here potentially, but if we can get through this area, then I think there might even be another journey down. And it's all going to be down to what's going on with these global equities as well. But the IBEX has performed particularly badly. So a breakdown of this particular area and then some sort of retest, then we'll try and get it down to this point. But I think it's a good idea to take profit here and see what happens next. See if it can break through that area and give us a retracement. I think we'll get close to the same price. Now, the other one that I've had struggle to ignore is the Nasdaq, and it's because the Nasdaq continues to push and push and push. It just doesn't seem to want to come down. So I got into this late on Friday as it came down to test this level down here. So I'm long on the Nasdaq, and that's really the only trade that I've got on right now. I got in at 10. Oh, these are the futures. So 10,760 is my trade on the Nasdaq. Let's quickly have a look at the FTSE as well, because the FTSE is looking ominously weak at these levels. But I think we'll have a look at news and data in a moment, because we got to see what's going to drive this lower. But this has now broken a level. Now, I've had a little bet with Lloyd for quite some time that the FTSE is going to get down to 4.8. And we were laughing the other day because he was saying to me, "Oh, you're going to win the bet," and I was like, "I'm not so sure, mate. Because his level is 6.8, so his level is all the way up here. He thinks that by September we're going to get to 6.8, and my thing was by September we're going to be down to 4.8, and we were making this bet a few months ago. Down there, I'm looking for down there, and we were laughing the other day because he was sort of saying, "Oh, I think you're going to win the bet," and I said, "I'm not so sure. I don't think these markets are going to break down back to the lows now." But he thought I'd said 5.8, and if I kept my mouth shut, then I would have won. I would have won, but I couldn't do that to him. So I said, "No, mate. I wish I was at 5.8. It's at 4.8." But what that means is that we are both right in the middle of our price point now. So 5.8 is here. That's where he's aiming for. That's where I'm aiming for. But there's no doubt that the market is we're going for a weak phase. Now, I said last week that that if the market was to start coming off, I'd be looking for a buying opportunity. I just don't I just don't see us breaking back down all the way back down to the lows with the market. I think that the economies are trying to kickstart. Some of the numbers are okay. Some of the numbers are still pretty bleak. But I wonder whether the numbers that are okay will just about keep the market in a bearish type of range. But I think that we might still just manage to avoid to stay off the lows down here. But it wouldn't be the FTSE that I'd want to trade. It would be the DAX. Now I'm interested in the DAX because I think the stimulus in the eurozone will probably keep these European stocks buoyant enough. And when I say European stocks, I'm certainly not talking about the IBEX, but I am talking about the German shares. So I'm looking for longs in the DAX. So I say I've got a long on the Nasdaq. We are incredibly high and overbought on the Nasdaq, technically speaking, but deals are still going through. I don't know if you heard about Microsoft trying to buy TikTok.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, which is an interesting story because Trump is trying to ban TikTok in the US, but Microsoft have managed to kind of have a meeting with Trump and convince him that maybe some further research needs to be done into that particular stance. And I suppose if Microsoft were managed to if they were able to buy them, maybe that would alleviate some of Trump's fears about national security. So it seems those talks are going to go on into some point in September. And if that's the case, then I would suspect that Microsoft would be making a pretty decent acquisition there. I don't know what the price is going to be, but TikTok's incredibly popular. And it seems to be the new Twitter and the new Facebook. It appears to be the new app of choice, certainly between young people.
It's had a big leg up as far as I can see by COVID-19.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Now,
and this
whether
is
that remains the case is another story.
This is the story that I'm following, because I think that the FTSE will continue to be weak for a little while. I'm not sure, as I say, if we get back to the lows, but I think there are selling opportunities potentially with the FTSE. It probably could do a bit of a pullback first. I think the IBEX continues to be weak. I think the Dow could be under stress. The DAX could be under stress just for a little while, but I'll be looking for a long in it eventually. But I can't get away, and that's why I was thinking, you know what? Even though the Nasdaq is overbought on many of these indicators, how can we deny that we seem to be very much in a tech space right now? The COVID situation just seems to dictate that we can't sell off from any of these tech stocks, because we are moving towards maybe a new dawn. We might be changing the way that we do business, and regardless of that, I think that we're probably in this current phase of doing business, and some of those tech companies have just posted some brilliant profit lines. I think the Dow is under stress. I'm pretty sure it was Chrysler or General Motors, one of those guys that posted absolutely awful numbers last week. So when I look at that, I've got to think that if anything is going to weaken it, it'll probably be the Dow Jones Industrials. I think the S&P probably manages to hold firm because it's because of its such a broad broader cross-section market. Having 500 companies means that some of the downside could be mitigated by some of the companies that post decent profits. But if we're comparing two indexes which are at different ends of the spectrum, the Dow seems to be very much more to do with manufacturing, and the Nasdaq very much to do with tech. So I think if we're looking for a short in the American economy, it would be the Dow, and if we're looking for a long, we're looking probably at the Nasdaq. Now let's just have a look at what could shape that over the course of the coming months and weeks. And we got to look at the numbers. We got to look at what's been printed from some of these numbers. So let's bring this in here. Oh, Shukri saying if TikTok is banned tomorrow, we'll look at two cryptos which may go up, a replacement for TikTok in the US. That'd be really good. We can have a look. Maybe when we will be getting out in front with those two. But I don't think TikTok will be banned. I think that so the fact that Microsoft have come out and alleviated Trump's fears for now, I think that he may well hold off. And Microsoft, if we think that big business really runs the states, then then it would appear to me that Microsoft would be, certainly some a company that would have some say in what happens in the US, even down to national security aspects. But I don't know that what's Bill Gates' stance on Donald Trump. Have they got a decent relationship? Because if they do, then Microsoft. Oh, look at this. Shukri's coming up with a Microsoft is a crypto stock. Now we're starting to talk. Now, this is the thing about trading, and this is the great thing about this as a community. There are over, now I don't know what there is, mate, but I'm going to say there are over 4,000, maybe even 5,000 things to trade in the
Yeah,
world.
for sure.
And all we need to do is pick the right markets, pick the right things to trade. And the more that we extend out and find, the people like Shukri, who is, by all intents and purposes, a bit of a crypto expert, it means that we can go, right, okay, Shukri, well let us know what you know, and we will we can have a look at that space and see if the parameters that we already use to trade with and make decisions can slot right over the top of some of the products that you know about, and then we'll trade those instead. So we don't have to continue to look in the conventional areas like gold and silver and the six majors. We can look at stocks. We can look at US stocks. We can look at British stocks, German stocks, Spanish stocks, right the way across the board. Belgian stocks, and then we can look at the crypto space as well. So I think we're in really good shape at the minute, mate. I don't think we've been in a better place when it comes down to resources to give us opportunities to trade. All we
Yeah,
have
look,
to do,
certainly different to when I started trading, that's for sure.
yeah,
When
yeah.
there was, one little strategy that really wasn't much of a strategy, I've got to say. There are many, many ways to open your eyes these days. I'm an old fella, and Dennis nailed it earlier when he said that this space is probably not for me, and I think he's right. But I'll continue to watch what you guys do, and if I can learn something, then I'm more than happy to do that. Very difficult to
Yeah,
teach an old dog new tricks.
well, do you know, mate? That may well be the case, but I think when it comes down to it, it's just chipping away because I'm no different to you. We've had conversations about crypto for about a year, just going,
Yep.
it's voodoo. We're not going anywhere near it. But over the course of the last month, actually, yeah, the more I speak to, some crypto analysts, if you like, the likes of Shukri and my buddy Mario, the more I'm realizing actually this stuff isn't too tricky and it's not too voodoo. It's about desire, and if the market desires to trade it, then actually we can use certain things that still make sense within those worlds and those realms. So I reckon we keep going with our experts, and you'll be the same as me, mate. It won't be long before we're both in the same place, and we'll be the ones educating everybody else about crypto before long. I'm sure you'll be telling us
I'm
about a new Jeff coin that you're starting to launch. I'm sure within 6 months there'll be a
Yeah,
Jeff
no
coin
doubt.
out.
I
Yeah.
like the yield aspect. I think Shukri can definitely show me something there, but the trading of it aspect has me a little bit concerned at this point, I've got to say.
Yeah, understood. Right, well, let's have a look at some of these numbers then. Oh, in fact, before we do that, let's have a look at gold.
And I've got a few charts to have a look at too.
Okay, mate, no worries. All right, I won't take too long here. So gold continues to push to the upside as we see. The thing that interests me the most about gold actually is the dollar index, and this is the dollar index. And the dollar index, looking at this on a month by month basis, we are right here. We seem to be potentially under. In fact, let's do it from down here because I think this is probably a bit clearer. But a bit more accurate, I should say. We are potentially on a significant monthly support line here with the dollar index. Now, I'm not saying that the dollar goes up from here significantly, but I think a relief bounce is probably on the cards. So if we look at that dollar and we compare it to the euro very, very quickly, it would suggest to me the same thing with the euro. Is the euro also on a significant monthly level here? Looks like to me that that it probably is. If it's not through, it might be through. But you know, if this ends up being a failure up at these particular points, then I think we might also see just a bit of a relief to the downside with the euro. Now, what could be happening is that the line might well be here. And if the dollar does strengthen a little bit, then the area at 116, let's call it, the area at 116 starts to look like a pretty attractive buying opportunity. So I'd be looking for some downside with the euro dollar, a little bit of upside with the dollar index, bringing us down to 116. Looking at the trend line along here, and then we might have an opportunity to go long in the euro dollar. And same with gold. You know, can we get just a little bit of relief to the downside because of the fact that the dollar's sitting on a pretty important technical level, just drifting right back down to something like 1850 or something like that, and then we can go long gold. But I think going long gold here would be a mistake. So very, very quickly to the numbers. The numbers so far on the Asian side of the globe seem to be pretty solid. Manufacturing PMIs came at 52.8. Everybody can have a look through these numbers yourselves. Spanish manufacturing PMI, interesting, and I think that might well encourage me to close the IBEX anyway if I hadn't already closed that particular trade. Manufacturing PMIs out of Switzerland, very interesting, and really interesting when you look at some of these Swiss stocks that are dependent on a weaker Swissy. These come out to be pretty positive. Then we are looking at shorting some of those, continuing to short some of those Swiss stocks. But the big numbers really start to come from later today. Manufacturing ISM, this is going to drive the Dow potentially. So let's look out for that number. That's going to be during the US show. So let's have a look at this number. We'll look at the Dow. If the Dow is setting up for some downside, then maybe we get a trade short with the Dow later on off the back of some of these numbers. But let's pass it back to you, mate, and then we can have a look at some of these later on. But just to so everybody's clued up on what I'm watching today. That's pretty much in a nutshell for right now. But I'm waiting for 3 o'clock really this afternoon before making any other real big decisions on some of these trades.
Right, mate. Happy days. I am currently struggling with the control panel. There we go. Got it. All right, a few things to have a look at, as I said, and I'll start with the last of them. And Swee wanted to know my impression of dollar yen on the 4-hour chart. And Swee, I'm not sure what you're seeing, to be honest. I can't see a slingshot set up there for the life of me. What I do see, of course, is the potential for this to be a lower high. I get that bit in terms of this high, but gee whiz, this real big rush to for the retracement, if you like, that I've been waiting for on the dollar for so long, dollar index that is, not dollar yen, may well be underway. But I have really steered clear of the dollar because I just don't like it. I haven't liked the currency forever, but I just don't like the free fall that it's been in. Yes, it has to retrace, and I've been saying that for over a month now. But you've got to be fairly well humored or have a good sense of humor if you are going to wait that long. Yeah, it may be on, but I don't see how I can trade that at the moment. Certainly not on dollar yen, and dollar yen's one of my pet hates altogether. I just don't see a setup here for me on dollar yen at the moment. It seems to be in the middle of nowhere in terms of we're somewhere between the daily pivot and daily resistance 1. We haven't really reached that falling trend line or resistance trend line. That appears to be at a confluence area of a type here. Maybe that's the level there. It's hard to say. There's a bit of a cloud of a price there, pretty much where we are actually, in between that support level there and that resistance level there. Interesting. but I don't really see a setup to go short on it at the moment. If you can share with me what you're seeing, I would be very, very happy to. I saw a double cross on the monthly pivot. I haven't got it on my chart. Okay, there you go. Let me go to my template. That's probably, there you go. You got to have your pivots on your charts. That's probably why I don't see it. Double cross on the monthly pivot. Awesome. On the 4-hour chart. You know, I'd be interested in that, of course. Okay, now here's the thing with the double cross. We're on a 4-hour chart. Yes, we are. But a double cross means you're trading in the direction of the first candle. So if we go break it to the high side and then come back and break it to the low side, we're actually looking to trade it long, not short. And that would be very, very dangerous at the moment on a small time frame, because you do have the daily pivot and the weekly pivot very, very close together here, and that tends to be a magnet to price. So very, very difficult for me to go long at this point, certainly above there on a 4-hour chart or less. Daily chart may be different tomorrow, but no, not at the moment. You wanted to go short, didn't you? Of course. But yeah, the double cross is not telling me that. And I can't see a way to go short here on the 4-hour chart either. Maybe the 30-minute chart's got something to offer. Yeah, not really. We're kind of in that range. We could put a support trade line across here and wait for a bit of interaction there, or we could wait for a lower high here at the confluence of monthly pivot. A little double top there, or a double rejection of the monthly pivot would be interesting, but at the moment, no, I don't see a trade. Sorry. What was the other ones we were looking at? Lewis, you wanted me to have a look at Aussie Kiwi, I think. Aussie Kiwi is there. And yeah, look, Aussie Kiwi is telling me two things. On the weekly chart, the monthly chart actually. On the monthly chart, it's telling me that we've bounced off the bottom of the range and therefore looking for a higher low. Whether this is it or not is debatable, of course. And that's a monthly chart. So I still think our bias has to be long at this point. The interesting area here is going to be that trend line. And I think there's probably an opportunity to trade it up to there on a smaller time frame. The weekly chart is a little bit messy, I would have to say that. But going back to what Swee said, we've got a big break of the monthly pivots, actually last month's monthly pivot. If we were to come back here on the weekly chart this week and get a double cross on that, that would be interesting for a trade. Are we prepared to wait that long? I don't know. The 4-hour, the daily chart is a little bit messy also. We are above the pivots here, not the daily anymore. This is a potential false break of the former range, which is snug in here somewhere on the smaller time frame than the monthly, of course. So we've come up, we've had a little bit of consolidation. We now appear to be on our way back. And if that were to be the case and we retested the pivots, then the short is definitely on, but only on, again, the smaller time frames. And the reason for that is because if we go back to here, we're still looking for longs, right? So the shorts are only short to medium term. So I could certainly see that as a false break, but you'd want to be taking most of your profit off at the bottom of this inner range here that we've got. 4-hour chart for now is saying that's a distinct possibility. Do I have a way to trade that? Sure. Double cross of the weekly pivot would be just fine if we could get it. So if that were to close where it is and then the next bar were to be bullish and decisive, closing around about this area somewhere, that would be interesting. So to answer your question, what are my thoughts of Aussie Kiwi? I'm thinking longer term long, but I'm thinking short to medium term short. And I know that doesn't help too much, but that's pretty much where I'm at. on Aussie Kiwi. Pound Kiwi, we are definitely in Pound Kiwi. And we are still holding that. Let me have a look at Pound Kiwi. As we are in Pound Aussie. Where is Pound Kiwi? Here. So Pound Kiwi, I think we're about 400 pips to the good at the moment. You guys should have traded this. We pointed that out, what, 2 weeks ago? A bit more than that. And it was trading this bar here. I was looking for a better entry, to be honest, but you had to keep this one open. And we're now in that trade. As I said, I've still got my stops where they started, but I've taken 2 lots of profit here as well. So this is well and truly free trading. Looking for a pullback to the pivots now, and I will add to my position if we do get that. And I'm expecting that to happen. You know, this has been a pretty bullish move that we've had. We're now at this former level here, which was a breakout level. So I'm expecting this to pull back. Weekly pivot, monthly pivot, either one would be fine. That's why I'm keeping my stops pretty loose at the moment. And if we do get this opportunity to trade this again as a pullback for the pivots, then I'll definitely be looking at that. So Chandra, good on you, mate. I hope you're in that one. As I said, Pound Aussie is doing something very, very similar. It's a little bit different. And there was a question on Pound Yen that I'll answer in conjunction with this one as well. So Pound Yen and Pound Aussie have come to a fairly decent resistance level. You can see the resistance that it's been through here, a little bit of support through here, but resistance, resistance, resistance. It's telling me that's very, very difficult to get through this level, which would probably be 184, let's call it the whole number. And you can see that that trend line is about to be a little bit of an issue as well. Still a fair way away, to be honest. But I'd be looking to, and again, we're free trading here. We've taken profit on this a couple of times as well. But I'd be looking for that to hit this level and then pull back again, probably to the pivots. And maybe, I don't know, I'm not that keen to get back into this one. Not too keen to scale into this. I might just trail the stop and see what happens. But I am expecting a pullback on that particular one as well. So to Pound Yen, that was the one we were talking about. I was also in this trade, but I closed it this morning, as a matter of fact. I held it over the weekend, but I closed it this morning. Reason is because of the level that we're currently at, and it's a major level on, let me get that right, there we go. When I say major, it's on a monthly chart, and it's got a little bit of form over here as well as resistance, as you can see. That's where we currently are, or we've been through actually. Here's where we are at the white line. So you can see that it has been support in the past, fiddled around there for a while, became resistance, became support, big launch up there, and support here again, support here again, support here again, and now I would expect that to be resistance. So that's why I closed the trade this morning in good profit. And I would be, again, similar to everything else that I've just mentioned, be looking to scale back, well, to get back into that, but only after a massive pullback. Maybe even back to the monthly pivot and that breakout level there, which is fairly coincidental, one would have thought. So that is the pounds covered, if you like. Shukri Orlando mentioned that Kiwi, dollar and Euro CAD did not hit their key levels yesterday before turning lower. Higher for dollar CAD. Haven't really had a good look at that. There's 4 crosses that I want to have a look at shortly. But I'm trying to squeeze all these questions in before I do that. And by the way, thank you everyone who has said welcome back. It's very, very nice to be missed. I'm trying to catch up with everybody and the questions. Pound Kiwi we've covered. Euro CAD monthly chart. Oh, that's the one I had showing. I'll get to that in a tick because I do like it. Big double top sitting there on that one. Lewis, yes, definitely. I can see no reason why we can't. I don't have that. I'm not technologically savvy, as you should all know. But why don't we feed that through the whatever you call that thing, the back tester? I'll call it the back tester, to see if we, and we'd have to add in parameters, I would imagine. But I'll be doing that tonight. I'll be adding in a couple of parameters, and maybe you guys, if you have got that software, then you can absolutely do it automatically. It'll be a far quicker process than I'll be doing it, because I'll be just doing it manually. Absolutely. That sounds like a fantastic idea. If you're willing to do that, let's try that this evening. Have I caught up? Has anybody got anything else? I don't think so. I think we're good. Aussie Kiwi, yes, we did mention that. Pound yen, I did mention that. I got out of that trade this morning, Emmanuel, as I said, and I am waiting for a pullback, potentially to get back into it long. But I think there's retracement on offer there for pound yen at the moment. And I think we're good. If I've missed anybody, then I apologize for that. Please put it back into the question. So many hotspot accelerations missed, Jeff. When? Pound US dollar OCI for used for 1 hour bar and make it good profit. Okay, good, Sanjay. Excellent. We missed that 15-minute UK trade. When you were away, we miss your rectangle trade. The rectangles, yes, righto. Let's see if we can find some, shall we? Now, I do have a watch list for the week, and I'm trying my darndest to stick as much as I can to those. I added one this week. Now, the watch list is this one. CAD yen. CAD yen, because I'm looking for a pullback to trade long, because I think this is a classic massive false break here. If I look at the bigger picture, the last time we were at the extremes, and the extremes I call the extremes of my structure, we were coming off the base, and we put in this beautiful tweezer bottom sitting there. Look at that. Then a higher low, and then we had this mad movement in through here. And now we've gone into consolidation and have printed what may well be another significant higher low. The interesting part about that is, if you dig a little bit deeper, is that potential false break that I showed you. It's evident, of course, on the daily chart as well, more so than it is on the 4-hour chart. And certainly tomorrow morning, if I wake up and I see that this is still a bearish bar, I will look to trade that long above that bar for sure. Oh, okay, Helen, cool. Thank you. So that's very, very interesting, that bar there for me tomorrow morning. If I can find a way on the 4-hour chart prior to that, then I still think this is on, but it's got to come back. It really has got to come back. I can't just trade from here. Love to see a weekly pivot, a dip down to the weekly pivot and give us a nice reversal bar or something like that. We could then trade the higher low. So that's CAD yen. That was probably the top of my watch list when I was doing my analysis yesterday. Aussie yen, of course, is another. And this is going to be a little bit contradictory. And I couldn't find that word yesterday when I was doing the Sunday show. And the reason it's a bit contradictory is because the CAD and the Aussie, as you all know, are commodity currencies and risk-on currencies at the same time. Not keen to go long Aussie yen, however. I'm keen to go short Aussie yen. And that's primarily on the back of this very pronounced double top that you can see here. That's on a daily chart. On the weekly chart, it is very, very similar. It hasn't really formed yet, though, I'd have to say. But look at the level. The level's just amazing. If you have a look through there, you know, the strong resistance that this has been over many, many months is quite pronounced. A big support level there as well. I know that dipped well below it, but it did hold the market up. And I think if you went backwards, you'd probably see there's a bit more form there. The only thing that concerns me here is the fact that we haven't hit that monthly trend line, which of course is the top of our range as well. But it's as close as damned, I would have thought. And you could even be forgiven for trading this bar here on the monthly chart, on the weekly chart. as well. This bar here, you could trade that. I would have thought. I haven't done that, but I am looking for a way in here. Maybe there is merit in trading that on the weekly chart. I don't know why I haven't done that. Yeah, I do, because of the monthly pivot. It spooked me a bit. But let me investigate that a bit further. That would have been the reason that I didn't take that position. Your risk's about 220. Your reward is, yeah, it's not a third of that, which is kind of my criteria. If I haven't got a third of the overall risk to take profit at, then it's probably not worth taking. So this is very, very much on my watch list for a short, and I'm just waiting on the right setup to pounce on this one. The daily chart tomorrow, yeah, not so much. Not I won't trade a bearish bar short anyway, so I'll be still waiting on that. I would have thought tomorrow, unless it turns white for some reason. This one's a bit more interesting, and this will be the one. This is the 4-hour chart. So all I need to see now is a bullish bar after this one closes in an hour. If it were to close where it is now and give me a bullish bar that came back not only to the trend line, but that would be sufficient for me to trade it. But you can see the 3 pivots here. If we got a bull bar back to here, nothing would stop me trading that short. And there's plenty of room to take profit here as well before the bottom of this range. This is a classic scenario where we've had this box range. There you go, guys. There's your first rectangle for the week. You've had this box range in here. You could start it there, or, oh, hang on. We dropped the ball. There we go. You probably start it here, actually. And you could probably take it down to there if you so chose. And that will give you a very, very clear picture of what's going on here. Break out to the high side, hit the weekly pivot, back underneath. And now we're looking for a retest of not only the trade line, the top of the range, the weekly pivot, the monthly pivot, the daily pivot, which are all together, because guess what? It's the first trading day of the month. No surprise there. But that's what I'll be looking for. And I'd be very, very keen to take this one. This is Aussie yen short. Kiwi yen is pretty much in the same category. I won't go through this. It's exactly the same scenario as I've just described, to be honest. You just need to look for a setup. Big double top. You're looking for a lower high. You're looking to trade it short. We've already got a lower low. I think this one's another P. Again, didn't quite make it to the top of our range, but we certainly did on previous occasion, which was what, 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I think this one's probably better than Aussie yen if we can find a way in on Aussie Kiwi, but certainly tomorrow I'll be looking at Aussie yen. The final one, and you guys should have already been trading this one. I've also closed this, not because I should have, but I just trailed my stops too tight, unfortunately, and I'm now out of this, but I'm very, very keen to get back into it. I'd love to see this come back to the pivots and the bottom of that range, which is this one here, the ascending channel. If we were to see that, and again, back to the pivots, there is definitely a short on here as far as I'm concerned. This long-term structure has broken down, goes back, what, to April, has broken down. A retest of that really does get me interested short. So there you go. That is what's on my watch list. I did add one this morning, and it was EuroCAD, and for the life of me, I can't even see it now. Now, you will note with probably interest or maybe disdain that I'm not even mentioning anything against the US dollar. And I think I outlined that a little bit earlier. I don't trust the US dollar at the moment. I can't see why it would rally. I've got absolutely no reason to think it can rally, apart from the fact that it's oversold. But that doesn't give me enough to trade it at the moment. EuroCAD, I'm quite keen on because of this big double top sitting here. And if you look at the monthly chart, look at how many times that level has failed since 2015. So we're going back 5 years. We have been unable to get above this level. this is probably as close as we've been, apart from the little false break that we had back in March of 2018. But I'm really keen to see this go again short, and just waiting for that opportunity. The weekly chart's not ready yet. The daily chart's not ready yet. The 4-hour chart is probably not ready yet either. But I think anything that gives me a sniff here, I'll be very, very keen to take. I'm looking for a lower high here at the moment on the 4-hour chart. I don't want to jump in at the moment. We've got an untested daily pivot, of course. But that said, when we are retracing or reversing, often the daily pivot just doesn't get a look in anyway. It may be one of those occasions where we just continue to go south. It a little bit interesting already on the 4-hour chart. You may even think that is a nice little break and retest of the weekly pivot, which is like not even 1 day old yet. It would be a high risk strategy to trade that short at the moment, but I've seen worse. We have come to this level, and it depends on where you see that level as being, I suppose. If you saw it as being that level, which is probably high risk, as I said before, we've broken it and retested it. But if you use what I would consider to be a more significant level, then we're trading straight into it. And for that reason, I can't trade. A pullback here to the daily pivot, even today on a smaller time frame, I would look to trade that short. So that is Euro CAD, and that's where I'm at. Head and shoulders forming on the Aussie versus the almighty once US dollar. Let's have a look, Helen, on the hourly chart. Okay. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Is that what you're seeing? As I said, I'm just steering well clear of the dollar at the moment because I just don't like it as a trading opportunity. I can see that we've probably... I'd want to see it get up here, Helen, I think, before I look to trade it. I think if we're talking the 4-hour chart, which you weren't, I know, then this is probably a neckline, an offset neckline, and we're looking for a rally back to here, challenge this level again. I would have thought the daily pivot, then maybe I would consider that, but at the moment, no, it's not for me. Okay, goodness gracious, it got to the top of the hour very, very quickly. Have we been triggered on the pound yet, is the question. Wrong chart. Negatory, good buddy. All right, so can I find a trade in the 30-minute charts? Let's see on the ones that I'm looking at.
Actually, not a whole bunch of movement. I see the FTSE's just picking up from its lows now, and I suspect we might be in, maybe slightly bullish on some of these global equities, and maybe even the dollar just before that ISM number gets released. But not a whole bunch of movement. I'm just checking out some shares here.
Helen, be good to get in the Aussie because there'll be an interest rate announcement tomorrow, of course, and not that will change, or nobody expect it to change, but the statement could be interesting and it may make the market move, so it'll be good if you did get in. Sorry, mate, am I waiting on you to do something?
No, mate, no. I was just really just commenting on the, just because you were talking about the pound dollar, just saying that things are kind of quiet out there, apart from just a bit of retracement. But as I say, I don't think we're going to break to the low side. But I'm just checking out some shares, which I've got to do some research on. But I'm just reading something about GlaxoSmithKline and Sanofi just doing a deal with the European. Who they're done with? The European Commission supply of 300 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine. So the vaccine candidate developed by Sanofi in partnership with GlaxoSmithKline is based on the combinant protein-based technology used by Sanofi to produce an influenza vaccine, and GSK established adjuvant technology. This I'm finding interesting, because whoever gets the big deal about COVID, and then there might be a basket, of different pharmaceutical companies that gets it, but whoever gets the big deal is gonna fly. So I'm quite interested in seeing if there's any opportunities just to maybe get into that space as well. So we'll discuss some of these shares later on. I'm just looking through the balance sheet, but I'll share that with everybody later on, and just see what I'm looking at with some of these companies, and see if we can decipher which might be the best one to trade.
Will the first contender that, I don't know, what passes a test somewhere with the drug enforcement people, and I assume they're different in every country of the world, are they the ones, or do we have to wait until they kill some people? And I don't mean to be funny here. Or do we have to wait until they're proven or given a rubber stamp by the drug enforcement agency?
Do you know, I wonder whether the ones that are going to be first out the trap are probably the companies that have already got something in existence that has been used to treat other things, and won't need the testing, won't need the extensive testing done, in comparison to some of the new ones that are being developed. So I'm looking to see if there are any companies that I'm going to need to look a bit further into this particular story about this Sanofi and GlaxoSmithKline. But if it is a currently available drug and a currently available treatment, which it looks like it is, if they are doing a deal and they found that it has some kind of health properties that help against COVID-19, then those companies will probably do best straight away. But the ones that probably have the longer term solution to this issue, i.e. AstraZeneca with their Oxford based vaccine, then they will probably do better later down the line. So that's why I think that there is an opportunity to get into this space now. We just got to pick the right company.
Okay, and how do we do that?
Well, I need to read more about this one, but GlaxoSmithKline and Sanofi look like they've got an existing drug. So that if they've got an existing drug that's already been tested and gone through all the safety checks that need to be done for these drugs, then they will probably come out the traps pretty quick. Whereas AstraZeneca, I think that they're going to be a little bit further down the line. So as you say, that those need to be corroborated in their testing, so they don't have any long-term harmful effects. So if for those types of companies, I wonder whether we might just hit a little bit of the brakes until we actually see some of the testing coming out to be more and more positive, and more specifically get a release date on those. So AstraZeneca, I would be putting on the back shelf for right now, and any of those companies that have got a COVID vaccine product in testing that needs to be, that is effectively a new vaccine. Anything that's got a new vaccine, I would suspect that those companies might take a little while to come through. Whereas the likes of GlaxoSmithKline and Sanofi, they might well be an opportunity now, because they've already got something that's already out in the market treating something else that looks like it's got some crossover. And it's already got some positive crossover effects to do with COVID. So I think the way that we do it is focus on the ones that already have existing products and say, right, have they got any medicinal qualities that help people for now? And because those deals will be done now, because the economy needs something now. It needs an answer. The worldwide economy needs an answer now. But then we maybe have a look at the likes of AstraZeneca later down the line. Maybe we wait for a decent pullback in those ones, because those companies probably will have something that is more substantial, because it's more specific to treating COVID-19. So, I think our research needs to be done on the present, what present products are out there, and what present products will probably get the majority of sales and it looks like this one may well do. You know, that it looks like they're in advanced talks with the European Commission. You know, 300 million doses of vaccine is a big number. So, you know, those companies, I suspect, you know, should, if they get that deal done, should improve their profit lines by quite a bit in the near term. And that's what I'm looking for right now, really. What's out there now for the near term for us?
Cool. Okay. Well, as you say, we can stay up to date on that. You guys are all over that, I'm sure, whereas I'm probably not. The dollar index, Sanji, I did promise I'd have a look at this last night, did I not? Let's do that now, because it is interesting. And I can totally see why it would rally at this very point. I'm on the monthly chart at the moment, and the level I've got is pretty much where you see last month's candle has its low. And the reason I've got that level on the chart, I think it's about 92.60 something. Yeah, it'll be a cloud of a price, right? So let's say 92.50 to 92.70 or something like that. But you can see how it's been strong support here in the past. And that level, of course, is where we currently, where we did last month have a little bit of a rally off. And I must say, little bit is the word that I would use. You can see this level has got further history, however. Through here, it's been resistance. It's been support here, broke, became resistance again, and away she went. The support level's probably a little bit higher over here, but this level does have pretty strong credentials if you go back in time. So I can totally see why we would be getting a bounce at the moment. How big that bounce is, yeah, great question. How would you know? The one thing I suppose is this trend line that we've been looking at for the longest time and haven't come back to yet. We were talking about this up here, you'll recall, where I was looking for a bounce back to that line. Didn't get it. That's why I've got the SH1Ts with this, mate, to be honest, because it just didn't do what I was hoping it would do. And I was busting my boiler to get on this move because I could see it coming so far away. And I just don't jump in the market. Sometimes very sadly for me that I don't do that and back myself and, you know, put your stops up here and just go into the market. Didn't do that. Maybe I need to learn how to do that after 13 or 14 years of trading. Maybe I do. You just don't know. But it's got to come back towards there at some stage. There's probably no better time than pretty much that 92.60 level. And we've already bounced off it, as you can see. And what's this one? Just today's chart. That's today's candle. Yeah, that's the daily chart. So Friday was when the retracement took place. Getting into that in terms of trading a currency against the US dollar, good luck with that one, because picking that right one at the moment is kind of not on my radar because I haven't been looking at it. If you've got an opinion, then use it. I don't know that you'll get a better opportunity to trade a short against the US dollar than you will in the next week or so, because I think once we do hit here, it's on again. So that would be my analysis of the dollar index at the moment. This is probably your best opportunity if you are in favor of trading short against a currency short against the dollar. I reckon now is you're probably the only opportunity you're going to get for the next, I'd even go out to 12 months or even more than that, because I think this is in extreme trouble and about time, just about time. Hydroxychloroquine, I thought I was going to get that out and I didn't. Stilltown hydroxychloroquine. Yep. He can say it now. Donald, he's going well with that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's using it all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, apparently.
He loves it.
Is he still into it?
I think so. I don't know.
And Dennis, I will let you know if I live through it, mate, when I get the vaccine, absolutely. So, mate, I don't think I've got anything to trade right now, but gee whiz, I'm very, very keen on Aussie yen in particular. Why Aussie yen in particular? I want to be in the market when the news is released tomorrow. That would be good. I do think there's an opportunity if we come back to this level to trade it. I'm almost ready to pull the trigger now, but I just want to see this candle come back. In particular on the 4-hour chart, but I think it's going to be the best opportunity that we've got to. It's gone a bit further than I had anticipated on the 4-hour chart. May have to be the hourly chart now. Yeah, why not? In the next 49 minutes, if we can pull our way back to these pivots, in particular the daily, but we've already crossed it a few times, so it's not compulsory. Back to the pivots here. Definitely I'm going short Aussie yen. That'll be my first one. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Still on the DXY, not DXY, DXY. Back to that one. So, yep, hourly chart for me is going to be the first opportunity on Aussie yen. I want to see it get back to here and close on the pivots or thereabouts, and then I'm short underneath that candle. And I could probably hold that for a decent period of time. Where's it go? Don't know, but this level here looks interesting, doesn't it? Round about 70.52, so about 500 pips from where we are. Be nice off a 20 pip risk, couldn't it, if we can do that? Okay, Helen, awesome. Let's do that. Let's do that. So, Ash, I'm done. Waiting for those things to set up, and then Heidi ho, away we go. But I'm
Sounds good.
I need to see some really classic reversal signals against the dollar to trade them short before I take the plunge. I really do.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, let's come back later on. We'll check out those numbers in the show. And obviously, we'll be back, same trade time, same trade channel tomorrow. See you all then at 5 to 8.
That's the date. Don't be late. Remind me tomorrow, Helen.